faces its gravest escalation yet. 19 Russian drones breached Polish airspace overnight, forcing Warsaw to scramble defenses and shoot them down in the largest NATO airspace violation since the Ukraine war began.
Last night, Poland's airspace was breached 19 times by drones manufactured in Russia. The assessment of Polish and NATO air forces is that they did not veer off course, but were deliberately targeted. The Polish Air Force, assisted by our allies from the Netherlands, Italy and Germany, shot them down.
Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski went on the offensive, accusing Moscow of a deliberate strike. He declared, calling the attack a large-scale provocation.
Property was damaged, but fortunately, nobody was injured. As Prime Minister Donald Tusk reminded us this morning, even though NATO is not at war, Russian aggression strikes beyond Ukraine. Here at the Foreign Ministry, we took immediate action. I communicated with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, High Representative Kaja Kallas, and OSCE Chair in Office Elina Valtonen. We thank our allies for words of solidarity and their readiness to back them with deeds. We are taking appropriate measures.
For the first time since the war began, NATO air defenses destroyed Russian military assets over alliance territory. Warsaw invoked Article 4 to demand consultations, stopping short of Article 5, but sending an unmistakable warning that NATO will not sit idle.
First, Poland has activated NATO's Article 4, which provides for joint consultations between NATO allies, quote, whenever, in the opinion of any of them, the territorial integrity, political independence, or security of any of the parties is threatened, end quote. We believe Russian provocations call for further strengthening of NATO's eastern flank. Second, a representative of the Embassy of the Russian Federation was summoned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and presented with a protest note. I am aware that Russia claims there is no evidence these were Russian drones, even suggesting a Ukrainian provocation. This was anticipated. Lies and denials are default Soviet responses.
Moscow scrambled to contain the fallout. The Russian Defense Ministry denied responsibility, insisting it had not planned to hit any targets in Poland. Andrzej Ordash, Russia's chargé d'affaires in Warsaw, went further, dismissing Polish claims outright and questioning whether the drones were even Russian. Sikorski was scathing in response. He called Moscow's denials nothing more than default Soviet lies, warning that anyone blaming Ukraine was parroting Kremlin propaganda. His message was clear. Warsaw will not allow Russia to spin this as a mistake. The breach has rattled Europe. For years, NATO drew its red line at territorial defense. Now that Russian drones have crossed into Polish skies, that red line has been pierced, literally 19 times in a single night. The symbolism is impossible to ignore. Poland, once under Moscow's grip, is now on the front line of defending Europe. Sikorski vowed that Poland, the EU, and NATO will not be intimidated, declaring Russia's dream of reviving empire doomed to fail. The world is watching closely. NATO allies now face a sobering choice: tighten their military posture against Moscow or risk emboldening the Kremlin. What Poland calls deliberate, Russia calls accidental. But in the fog of this confrontation, one fact is undeniable. Europe's war has just stepped onto NATO soil.